Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2022 UNC Asheville Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I'm Mike Gore, and a member of the Hall of Fame committee, and we are so glad to have you here for tonight's event. This is, of course, a very, very special evening as we honor 4 former UNC Asheville student athletes, each of them exemplify being champions of athletics and leaders in life. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our Director of Athletics, Ms. Janet Cohn.
Mike Gore, we always appreciate you being here since you are Mr. Bulldog for sure. I also want to welcome everyone here, and I want to start out by thanking our longtime sponsor of our Hall of Fame, TD Bank. Bill, I want to thank you so much. TD Bank has been with us for the Hall of Fame and so many other things for the athletic department and for the university that we really appreciate. I also want to say kudos to Bill because you're going to have an alum in the family from UNC Asheville. So Darden, thank you for being here too. He's going to be graduating. So that's pretty exciting. I also want to recognize briefly, we have a few of our Hall of Fame members with us. Banford Jones, want to welcome you back. Of course, the great, doesn't need an introduction, the Coach B, Eddie B's here. I've enjoyed watching the ACC, the history of the ACC tournament, so I got to watch Eddie play again on that, so it's pretty impressive. And of course, Mike Gore, who started the Hall of Fame and is in it himself. So Mike, thank you so much. You know, we couldn't do this without our Bulldog Athletic Association. And I want to recognize the chair of the Bulldog Athletic Association this year, Darlene Davis. Thank you for being here. I need to say this, no relation, but close friends. Rich Davis is on our Bulldog Athletic Association board. So thank you so much. This is one of our most favorite times of the year. And because of COVID, we haven't had it in person now in a couple of years. So tonight is going to be special in so many ways, not only for the inductees, but just to know that we get to be back together and really celebrate our student athletes. So thank you. And Mike, I'll turn it back over to you.
At this time, please welcome Mr. Bill Smith, Vice President with TD Bank, presenting sponsor of, once again, the 2002 Athletics Hall of Fame. Bill, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Nothing better than, a little time with the banker. I thought we'd start off with a PowerPoint, maybe talk about monetary policy, inflation, some of that fun stuff to get the crowd going. All right. Maybe next time. So I'm Bill Smith. I'm with TD Private Bank here in Asheville. The previous 6 years, I actually was on the board of the foundation board here for the university. I'm a big believer in the school. Tonight marks 10 years that TD has been, 10 consecutive years that TD has been the sponsor for this Hall of Fame ceremony. We're certainly proud that TD is a sponsor and a supporter for UNC Asheville athletics, and certainly being supportive of student athletes here at our great university. Like Janet mentioned, my son Darden's joining me tonight. He's a senior here at UNC Asheville, and it's nice to have a Bulldog in the family. So we're excited to be here. But most of all, congratulations tonight to the inductees, to their families, and everyone who supported them in this journey that you've had, this great recognition and honor to be a part of our wonderful university. So congratulations. And on behalf of TD Bank, thank you. We're very grateful to be part of the evening. Please enjoy your time and go Bulldogs.
And now, please welcome our Chancellor, Ms. Nancy Cable, to say a few words. Chancellor?
Thank you.
It's time to get to the ceremony, but I have to give you all some insight into a couple things. Number one, I work for the best boss at the university, and that's Janet Cohn. She is awesome. And if anybody led this university safely through COVID, it's Janet Cohn, because she kept our athletes and our coaches and our assistants and our folks doing video and our folks working hard to keep everybody healthy, Janet and her team kept these students healthy, and they provided a model for the rest of our student body. Janet, let me thank you publicly for your leadership. It made all the difference in the world. On March 13th, 2 years ago, we got word from the UNC system that we needed to close and send most of our students home. That was a very dark day at UNCA because we happen to be a place that loves and cherishes our students. And our faculty want to teach students in person. They didn't want to do all this hybrid technology business. But you know what? Everybody stepped to the plate. Of the students that couldn't go home, it was because they didn't have broadband at home. And so this university spent quite a great deal of time over the last 2 years working on broadband access in this entire area. Our students did it. Some of our faculty helped. It's been a major win for us to stub out broadband for more than 400 families in this region. And we learned that because we realized how many of our own students couldn't have gone safely home, gone to online and kept their educational progress going. So COVID's been a headwind and it's given us a run for our britches, but you know what? We've made it through. We can brag because we had the lowest prevalence of COVID on this campus among all 17 UNC system institutions. And that's because we care about each other. It's the ethos and ethic of care across all of our students and all of our faculty and staff. I'm also proud to tell you, and this is my last comment for the evening, we were able to stand up a vaccine site and a testing site. And in the end, UNC Asheville gave more shots than any of the other 17 institutions. We helped 22,000 people in this region, including non-English speakers who didn't know where to go to get a booster or a vaccine. And so we had 22,000 people whose lives were touched because they came onto this campus and stayed safe and stayed healthy. So I'm proud of that. We're so glad to have you all back. It was gloom in Mudsville last spring when we couldn't do this in person. So welcome back. And to our awardees, you are our go-to role models. We couldn't be more proud of you. Thanks and welcome back, everybody.
All right, let's begin the induction ceremony. We're first going to introduce Matt Dickey, and here to a great men's basketball player here at UNC Asheville, and here to talk about Matt a little bit is his head coach, the star of the ACC tournament special, episodes 2 and 4. We're glad to have here Mr. Eddie Beanbaugh, a member of the Hall of Fame as well.
Well. This is, I'll tell you what, this is, I know it's very exciting for the inductees, but for me to get to see Mike Gore again and Janet Cohn and all the people that worked, my Cadillac sponsor, the people that took care of me when I was here, it's the best. I'm really happy that JP and Matt going in together. I think it's a natural thing to do. Brett's going to talk about JP in a little bit, and we'll get to that. But the two of those guys together, what they did for this program. And I think back when I first got here, and we've had a lot of good guard tandems since I've been here. And you fans, I see a lot of the great ones here. You'll remember these guys, Mike Matthews and Krieger and Josh Pittman. They were, when I got here, they were all good. And then there was Brett Carey, who was here, and Andre Smith. And then Alex Crago and Andre Smith. And those guys were as good as they can get. And KJ Garland and Brian Smithson. And then you guys come in, and none of those guys, none of them are better than you guys. And I can't say one's better than the other, but I'll tell you what, no one had more success than you two guys with our team and what you did. And I look out and I see your parents, haven't seen them in years. They look the same to me. I know I'm older, but to see them here and to remember being in your homes and recruiting back then when it started. I know that Nick McDevitt did a lot of work on Matt, but Trip Cogburn was the first one that saw him. And then Trip went on and Nick did the rest of the recruiting. I'll tell you what, that you guys got me in the Hall of Fame. Brett and the rest of them got me in there. But your final 2 years, you're 20-14 and 24-10, and went to the tournament both years. Your teammates were great. You're great. I'll name some of them. Jerron Lane's here, better than anyone knew. And Chris Stevenson, Kennard Jackson, DJ Cunningham, John Williams, all great guys. But you guys were the leaders, and you led them on the court, off the court. Better on the court, but we were good because how good you guys were on and off the court. And Matt he set the standard. First team all conference 2 years, all academic 2 years, tournament MVP, Big South Player of the Year, Big South Presidential Honor Roll. I didn't even know what that was. That didn't count any points in the game. I knew that. But I'll tell you, there's too many big games, big plays to mention all of them, but I'll mention some of them. The one that sticks out to me was when Auburn opened their new arena. And Trussville is, well, it's more than a driver for me, but it's pretty close to Auburn. And we went in there and beat them in overtime. Matt made a 3-point play that got us close. And it was remarkable for his family there and what was going on with our team and where we were the year before. That game really sticks out in my mind. Charles Barkley had talked to me often about that game, and that was the set even before the other one. And that same year, Coastal Carolina, the Big South was really good in those days. I'm not saying it isn't now, it is. It's better now, it's been in a while. But it was really good, and the coaching was excellent. Thank God I had Brett and Nick. They did most of the hard work. But we beat Coastal Carolina 61-58. And Matt had a steal and a three-pointer at the end of the game, which made it to ESPN Play of the Day and then Play of the Month, and played it over and over and over again. And again, I heard from Charles Barkley. So I got to know Charles. How much time do I have, Mike? I got to know Charles when he was at Auburn, and I was coaching at Georgia, and we recruited a real big guy. There was a freshman. His name was Bam Bam Rainey, and we got him to guard Charles, and didn't work. So I won't get into all the things on that, but he was too much overweight. He was supposed to be 6'8", 240, and he was 6'6", 280. And I remember we had a banquet, and the old coach from Marquette, Al McGuire, he said that Eddie was assistant coach then at Georgia, and I was running him up and down the bleachers trying to get him to lose weight. And I told him I got 15 pounds off him, and he said that was like throwing a deck chair off the Queen Mary. So, but anyway, after that part of the season, we went on that year, and we had great plays and great games. When he was a junior, won the tournament beating Charleston Southern. He had 29 points, and then High Point 18, and Coastal 12, but a crucial 3 at the end of the game. And we won all those games and went on to play Arkansas Little Rock. And he had a big 3 to force overtime, and we beat them to go on and play Pitt in DC. And I'm from Pittsburgh, and so I knew all the guys there and knew all the people involved in the game, and it was more than a big game to me. But nothing was better. And if I'm sure Brett will remember, I'm sure Mike Gore will remember, I know Janet will remember the bus ride to the game when the DC police in their motorcycles were leading us to the game. That was better than any ride I had at Disney World or anywhere I'd ever been. I mean, my wife still talks about that thing when we talk about games and what we did and going to DC and Pitt and everything. And that still comes up as that. Senior year, those guys were 24-10. And we played great, had a great schedule. We opened the arena here with Bruce Hornsby, and the range weren't with them, but we needed the range. But Bruce was there, and his son was on our team as a freshman. And Carolina was there. I know that Janet had a lot to do with building this arena, and she did a great job. I hear from people all over the country about this, and Campbell supposedly built one. It's not near as good as this. It's about the same size, but did a great job. And I told Janet we needed so one time she made me mad. It was, well, there might have been another time, but at any rate, she said we needed I wanted bigger locker rooms for the visitors, because the other teams come in and those players report and say, boy, that Asheville's new arena is great and locker rooms are great and everything. But she said, no, evidently there was some constraints or something, but they were small. And she said, this is great. Well, the visiting team will have a tough time there getting dressed. It's tight and it'd be hot in there. And so I said, well, that sounded pretty good. Janet's pretty smart. And I figured, it's pretty good. And then we go to play Carolina, and they got that big dance room downstairs, all fixed up like a locker room. And I went to NC State. There was Carolina coming in there. I didn't appreciate that at all. But anyway, we had a great game against the Tar Heels. The atmosphere was great. The place was packed. And what a great way to start off the year. I'll tell you what, it was a 1 or 2 point game, and one of our guards went up for a jumper, and their center tipped it, but then he killed our guard that was shooting the jump. And then he took off running and picked up the ball, went on for a layup, and one of our guys just swiped at it, didn't touch him or the ball. They called it technical, and that kind of set us back and created you don't know what that is when you're an underdog, and something like that happens at the game. But we gave them a good game, and we went on to the Battle of Atlantis. We played against Connecticut, and then we played against College of Charleston, and we lost a 2 point game to Charleston. Connecticut was a 10 point game, but it was closer than that. And then we beat Utah and beat them handily in the final. But I could tell then that we had started to play defense like you're supposed to play it. We started to play together like you're supposed to. And I'll tell you what, I knew this team was going to be good that year, but how good I didn't realize. And they, at that point, were really good. We lost a tough one at Tennessee. And I'll mention JP and his officials friends again. I don't know. No, that was another page I had. And those guys all got upset with me because I still have my old book that I always use. And I still have some old notes in here. But we got the short end of the stick over there at Tennessee. I know in the second half, there was 3 tipped balls that they tipped and they went out of bounds. And they tipped, I mean, we were throwing a pass over here. They deflected it, went out of bounds over there, and they gave it to Tennessee. And they ended up beating us. And that one, and I did get a technical on that one, didn't I, Mike? I got 2 over there in consecutive years.
This one was 3 minutes.
Anyway, but we lost that game. And then at that point, we were winning regularly and scoring points at a high rate. And Charleston Southern had a great team that year and a great bunch of shooters and a very average coach at best. And they came in and beat us. And that didn't sit well with me. But I'll tell you, Brett Carey and Nick and Dion Dakins was our assistants. And they put together a tape that had plays from Connecticut and plays from Charleston Southern. And they showed those tapes, and those guys watched and showed how they dove on the floor at Connecticut, how they rebounded, how they checked out, how they played defense, what they did. And then they showed the Charleston Southern, and they were scoring a lot of points, but we weren't playing defense. And then we went to practice and did our usual drills that we did, and there was a big change. And it was Matt, JP, you guys that did it. But the rest of them fell right in line. And after that, it was ridiculous. At that point, there was 3 teams in the country leading the nation in scoring. VMI was shot threes, never guarded anybody. And they were putting up numbers ridiculous. North Carolina and us. And we were jockeying back and forth the rest of the season. And then we had an overtime win at Winthrop. We were playing defense and really played. And then we just did great the rest of the way. Went to the Big South tournament, and we had High Point, Charleston Southern, and VMI. All of them scored. They scored 61, 64, and 64. And we scored 86, 91, and 80. And we guarded them. And the Charleston Southern game was 91 to 64. And that game for beating Charleston Southern is normally not that good. Made me the happiest of the whole season playing that game there. Because I would get up and look at their average coach coaching. And we had such a great time. But again, after that, we went to the NCAA tournament and we drew Syracuse. And I don't need to comment any on that, other than the fact that I still haven't talked to Boeheim, and I still hold a grudge with you. I know 3 officials' names besides JP's. I know 3 officials. Pelter and Solik were the 2 guys when I lost my junior year in high school at the state tournament, and Ed Corbett, the official at the Syracuse game. But again, I heard from Charles Barkley, and his statement was, "How did Matt get out of Alabama?" Do you remember that statement? He made it on ESPN, and for 2 days he ripped the officials in that game, and he called me after that. But the ESPN executives called him, and they were paying him pretty good, and told him he couldn't do it anymore. So that's why he got off. But I want to thank the assistant coaches that I've had here, particularly Brett and Nick are the latest of the guys I had. And what they did with these players at practice in the way of keeping up with them and teaching them the game of basketball, those two guys were magnificent. And I'm going to have to go and see Tripp because I forgot that he was the first one that contacted you. But some of the players are here that we've had over the years. I would hope there'll be more each year when we have this thing, because it's great to see you guys, and you mean so much to this program and to me, because you're the ones that made us what we were here. And Matt, congratulations. There's not a finer man and not a better player that we've had, and you earned it, every bit of it. Congratulations.
Thanks, Coach.
Am I supposed to call you up?
Oh, my fault. I didn't know.
Sit down.
Thanks, Coach, for that speech, and you kept on time too. So that's, maybe the biggest upset right there and stuff. But anyway, will Matt Dickey please come to the podium? And if we could have the Chancellor, Nancy Cable, and Janet Cohn up here as well. Yeah, just go. Matt Dickey accumulated 1,778 points in his four-year career, which places him third all-time at UNC Asheville in career scoring. He is the leader in the Division I era in career points. He was the Bulldogs' leading scorer as a junior and senior. As Coach B talked about, he led us to the Big South Tournament Championships in 2011 and 2012, and we went to the NCAA tournament both those years. He was a Big South Tournament MVP in 2011, and he helped us to a regular season championship as a senior in 2012. He is currently fourth on the school's all-time career list for steals and three-pointers made, tied for first in games played and fifth assist. He finished 2012 as the Big South Player of the Year. He was also the preseason Player of the Year, and he ended up being the Player of the Year. He was an honorable mention All-American. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the UNC Athletics Hall of Fame, Matt Dickey.
All right. Well, y'all don't know this, but that was actually the shortest speech ever that I've heard from Coach B. We'd get back on the bus at 2 a.m. and Coach B, we'd be like, "We're ready to go to bed, Coach." Coach was like, "Hey, all right, guys, come to the locker room real quick." Real quick was what you just heard. So that was good. Coach B, no, I really appreciate it. Obviously, I asked you to do that because, man, I looked up to you so much. And so I'll thank you at the end, but so much thanks for doing that. Thanks to the board, for everybody that voted or anything to do with me being on in the Hall of Fame. And really just thank y'all also. I'm not sure if y'all planned to do this or wanted to do it just because me and JP, have been brothers since we got here. But getting to go in with JP, man, there's nothing better than that. And so it really caps off our time here together, came in together. Didn't like each other at first because we were fighting for the same position. And then Coach B was like, "Guys, I need both of y'all to play." And so we were like, "Well, we can do that. Just put us both out there. We'll be fine. We'll make that happen." And so we did. And I think it turned out pretty well for both of us. But a lot of things have changed since then, 10 years ago. JP looks exactly the same. I don't know how. A lot of things have changed. We got kids. Not a lot has changed, though, in the sense that Coach B still got the same binder, same pencil, and also Jerron's hurt. And so, he's just some things never. John, I didn't know you were injured before you got here, and I said I got to make that joke tonight. But I'm here, so. Oh man, well, also too, Mike Gore is a prophet. I'm not sure if y'all know that, but 10 years ago, right after the season, Mike Gore came to me and he said, Matt, 10 years from now, or basically he said, the first time you'll be on the ballot, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame. And I said, you know, at that time I was like, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was like, I thought that's what old people do. And then here I am 10 years later and got some gray hair sprouting. So, but he said that. And then he called me back in, I guess it was December. And the first thing he said was, Matt, I'm not sure if you remember what I said 10 years ago. And I said, Mike, I remember exactly what you said 10 years ago. And is this what you're calling about? And he was like, this is what I'm calling about. You've been inducted into the Hall of Fame. And so, Mike, you're a prophet. And so just in case your wife needs to know that or anybody needs to know, you are. And but three of the things that I came into school with and that Coach B just really reiterated throughout my time here. And actually, it's three things that I teach my boys right now, Levi and Luke, who are over here, that I tell them, you know, almost every night before we go to bed. I tell them, I remind them, I say, hey, work hard, be a great teammate, and never quit. Whatever you do, work hard, be a great teammate, and never quit. And that for me and JP, working hard was the mantra of what we did. We were in the gym, and he got me up a lot of times. I got him up sometimes. He's the one who sent the tweets and everything out, but that, you know, grind, don't stop, you know, I mean, it was, you know, every day, but we were in the gym all the time. And so hard work was just what we did. And I think that's why, JP, I think that's one of the reasons why we're here. Being a great teammate. That's the greatest teammate right there that I could ever have. Got some other good ones in the back as well. But I mean, me and JP came in and literally, I mean, this guy he challenged me, made me better. And we, you know, like I said, we fought. I mean, we literally would get after each other. And then we go to IHOP after practice because we were still boys. And so we got, we were on the same team, but, and then never quitting. And there's definitely times always when you're going through playing basketball and the trials and tribulations of the sport that you think, oh, I'll just lay down and, I'll quit. And that's something we never did. And JP was one who never let me do that. Neither Coach B didn't either. But I think those are three things that I would say helped get me to here. But I think the one that I can't not mention is the reality of God's perfect timing. And I say that I'm a student pastor, so I guess I have to mention God in this. But no, but it's true. I truly believe that God's perfect timing orchestrated all of this. Because if some of the Alabama schools would have come after me, I'd have probably gone to an Alabama school, not because I didn't love it here and didn't love Coach B and the staff when I came up here, but it was closer to home, right? And the opportunity arose, and Coach B saw something in me that, and the staff saw something in me, and gave me that opportunity. And man, it all worked out perfectly. And so when Coach Tripp reached out, and then he ended up leaving and going to Mars Hill. Coach McDevitt and some of the guys ended up taking over. I knew for certain after I came up here, I'll say that I let Coach B actually come to my house and recruit me. And then I let him leave and still didn't tell him I was committed. And then when he was driving about 2 hours down the road, then I said, hey, Coach, I think I'm in. I'm ready to do this. He's like, you couldn't have told me that while you were there or while I was there. And I said, yeah, I wanted to make you sweat a little bit. But I just believe that that's God's perfect timing. And that God has been so good to me and to my family. This is the place where not only did basketball, take me so many places. It's literally now taken me around the world, but it also let me meet my wife. This is the place where I came to school to focus on basketball, to focus on school so that I could play basketball. And that was it. And then I got here and literally the first week, when I said, I'm not worried about girls, not worried about any of that. And then the first weekend, JP's like, hey, I'm dating this girl and, and she's got a roommate. And so, you should come over. And I was like, I'm not worried about that. And then I met my wife. And so we dated the rest of my 4 years. Coach B was a fan of that some, but mostly not. He thought it distracted me. But Coach B, it turned out good. So it was all good. But I do want to say this before I go. I got so many people to thank, but there's just some specific ones that I want to before I leave. And the first is UNCA, just in general. the athletic director, Janet. Just what y'all have done here is incredible. This gym is awesome. That was perfect that we got to close out the Justice with a championship and open up Kimmel with a championship. And so thank you, UNCA, just for the opportunity, the education, and all that you've done for me. Next would be JP. Like I said, man, not a better teammate in the world. Nobody, me and him, we'd run through a wall for each other, I think even right now. Just so thankful for you making me better throughout my time here and challenging me to be the man that I needed to be. Assistant coaches, McDevitt, Coach Carey, Coach Dakins, and Coach Cody, who's back here. He's here as well. Where's he at, Coach Cody? There he is. Hey, you guys, y'all made me better. On the court, Coach Cody was one of the guys who actually, while I was here, read The Purpose-Driven Life with me. It helped me to understand that, man, I had a purpose beyond the game of basketball, because one day it does end. One day you're standing up here in the Hall of Fame, you don't get to play anymore. The guy, and people, I guess y'all remember me right now, but the basketball team, when I saw him at UAB, Coach Morrell was like, this is Matt Dickey. He played here, and they looked at me, they're like, 6'1" white guy. What's this guy doing? He's one of the best. He's one of the best players here. And they were all like, started laughing. I was like, well, y'all can come get this. Me and JP will take y'all 2-on-2 right now. Let's do it. But Coach Cody, I appreciate that. I mean, the investment you had in my life has transformed my life. And all you coaches. Coach B, you're the next one I need to thank. You literally, when I was 5 hours from my family, you became a dad to me in a lot of ways. One just quick story. Coach B, I believe it was my sophomore, junior year, he drove around in the snow. He may not even remember this, but he drove around in the snow one night when we were stuck here. It was Christmas break. We're stuck on campus. Coach B was driving around in the snow, bringing us food to make sure we had food to eat. That was the type of coach that Coach B was. And that's the type of coach that my parents wanted to send me to play for. So Coach, thank you so much for that's what you did for us off the court. You taught me so much on the court about cooling the cubes, about 50-cent millionaires, about popcorn popping, all that different stuff. But Coach, thank you. I really appreciate it. And then last two, but certainly not least, is my family. Thank y'all so much. I mean, literally, my parents drove hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of miles to come up here and watch me play, and to come up here and to support me, to come up here and to my dad would be standing up. He's talking trash to the other student section at games. At Coastal Carolina, they didn't want the problem my dad had for him. And he's holding up the 3-point sign, pointing at them. He had the same. If you're wondering where I got my passion on the court from, why I got some text sometimes, that's Big Pops over there. But thank y'all so much. I mean, you dad coached me as I was growing up. Y'all have taught me how to be a man, how to not just play basketball, but how to be a father, how to be a husband, and how to live life the way it's supposed to be lived, and to honor the Lord in that. And then last but certainly not least, and the woman that I met when I was here is my wife, Rachel. There's a picture of me and Rachel in my office right now. It's a picture. I've got my arm around her. I got my championship hat on, the net around my neck, and we're walking out of Kimmel. And it's a picture that I love. It's real grainy, but I kept it because it reminds me all the time that when basketball was done, when my parents were even gone from the game and they had gone home, when the game was over, when the horn buzzed, when Coach B was finally done talking in the locker room after the game, when all of that had passed on, that she was the one walking off the court with me. And that's what it is now. She's the one walking this life with me, and she played volleyball here too. She's probably better than me at volleyball than I am at basketball. But she's that's the one who stuck with me at all 4 years. The times that I didn't want to work hard, she made me work hard, mainly at school. When the times that she knew how to be a good teammate and was the best teammate for me, and she taught me to never quit. She just continued to uplift me and encourage me and build me up. And that's what she still does today. And so thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you so much, parents, UNCA, Coach B, JP, boys in the back, assistant coaches, and everybody here, even my family and friends that are here. Y'all have all made me better. This is just something gosh, it's such a humbling thing to receive an honor like this. And so I'm so thankful, and go Bulldogs forever.
What's a little interesting is that, JP he's now a college basketball official. I looked it up. Matt committed 328 fouls in his career. And he never committed one of them because he's got that nice choirable look, but when that ref called a foul, all 328 times he got called for a foul, he gave that look like, how can you call a foul on me? So congratulations, Matt. Very, very well deserved. Our next inductee for tonight is JP Prim, who enjoyed a sensational basketball career here at UNC Asheville with Matt. Here to tell us about JP is former men's basketball assistant coach, now at Austin Peay, and he's an alum of UNC Asheville, Mr. Brett Carey.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. This is very fitting. These two guys, you never can tell a story without mentioning one without the other. So thank you, Hall of Fame committee. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Chancellor. This is the right thing to do, the right thing. You guys are amazing. We just appreciated the ride that you put us on as coaches, but you guys did it. You guys did it. So one thing that you did say, Coach, that was very true is me and Nick did the hard work. That was one thing, but no, love you, Coach. Appreciate you. But these two guys from day one, just as Matt spoke on from day one, they came in together. Now this is a true story. Their first individual workout, me and Coach McDevitt were waiting in the Justice Center. These guys came, we recruited to the Justice Center. Okay, so we're waiting, excited. It's their first college workout and they're late. So we stand there, they're coming out of Justice from the locker room in. We're on the other end where the offices are. And we just say, we're gonna run them the whole time. And so they get there, we put the balls up, we say, get on the line. And they did it without any rebuttal. And they ran the entire time. And when they were done, I looked at Nick, I said, we've got a chance. We've got a chance because these guys work hard and they know that's what it takes to do what they need to do while they're here. And man, we had a chance. And you gave us a great chance. And those next 4 years were some of the most greatest times of UNC Asheville men's basketball history, period, bar none. And then with JP, he is a natural born leader. There's very few freshmen that come into college to be a vocal leader. And he was it from day one. Matt was a leader by example, and that's why they complemented each other so well. But JP was the vocal leader from day one, and that's very rare. Been coaching 18 years now, and it's rare. Okay, so that is a big deal. And it comes from his drive, his desire, his discipline, and his determination. And when you combine that with great leadership, you get a Hall of Famer 10 years later. And I'm so proud to be here. Thank you. Congratulations, JP.
I'm just fixing the camera. You want to talk? Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Will JP Prim please come to the podium? JP Prim is currently the fourth all-time leading scorer at UNC Asheville with 1,693 points, which places him second just behind his teammate Matt Dickey in the Division I era. He is currently the school's all-time leader in assists and second in steals. He was a four-year starter for our Bulldogs and helped lead the school to 2 Big South Conference Tournament championships and 2 trips to the NCAA men's basketball tournament. He helped lead Asheville to the 2012 Big South regular season championship and tournament championship, where he was named MVP of the Big South tournament. He was also a first-team all-conference performer and also a member of the Big South all-freshman team. And he's also an honorable mention All-American. Please welcome the Hall of Fame, Mr. J.P. Prim.
Wow. Where do I start? I'm going to try to go through this without getting emotional. Y'all don't know I'm a very emotional guy. I was like that on the floor. I'm like that off the floor. But I want to say and give a lot of thank yous as well. I will say there's been a couple times where people have spoke about Dickey and Prim. And that's if I got in trouble, Dickey was never with me. That's probably one time that you didn't hear Prim and Dickey at the same sentence, okay? JP's in trouble off the floor, Matt wasn't with him, okay? But no, seriously, Matt, I was thinking on the way up here, just to kind of piggyback off what you said, I tell people all the time, Matt is probably the best teammate I've ever had in my life. The reason being is you all just kind of looked and seen what we did on the floor. But it was a lot of off the floor stuff that Matt made work. My senior year, Matt comes back from Athletes in Action. And, in order for us to really turn the page, I think as a team and as a unit, it's bringing God in, and Matt was that staple guy that did that for us. He came back and, he said, guys, we're going to do Bible study every Wednesday or every Thursday, whatever it was. We're going to do it once a week. And he said, if you don't have a Bible, I'll get you a Bible. Okay. So we had about 5 people. We said, we're going to see if Dickey is true to this. We had about 5 or 6 of us. Like, we need Bibles, bro. Like, come on. Man, that joker came back the next day. Here's your Bible. JP, don't lose it. Here's your Bible. Sharon, here's your Bible. Make sure you write in it. Elk, here's your Bible. And we all had, and that's what you need. You need people like that can push you past your comfort zone. And that's just a small story off the floor. On the floor, God, when we came in together, I remember our visit, we wasn't set up the same, but when we came for our first official pickup sessions, after the session, I'm like, we're going to be good. And the reason being is because this other guard, my guard mate that I'm going to have for the next 4 years, he has a lot of what I have. And there's times that we play pickup games and those guys back there can tell you if I'm lying. We would almost be in fist fights after, or Dickey, that was a 2. No, it was a 3. No, you can't guard me. Oh, yes, I can. And it was just a constant friction back and forth. And if you look on any great teams, they have 2, 3, or 4 of those guys. When they was talking about, Jordan with the Olympics, when they made their run, those guys got after it and it came to almost fist fights. And when we first got to campus, Dickey and I were like, hey, let's play pickup. Let's play pickup. This was our freshman year. So we had a lot of upperclassmen, Reed August, John Williams. It was like, we don't really do that around here. I'm like, what? Like, we're trying to play pickup. We're trying to get better. So weeks and weeks and weeks. We're like, so me and Dickey got together. We're like, yo, we got to change this, and in order for us to get to where we wanted to get to, you have to change the culture. And Matt was a big reason why we changed the culture here at UNC Asheville. And it was just the small things, doing the small things. If you do the small things, they'll take care of the big things. So Matt, I really appreciate you for everything you did for me on the floor, everything you did off the floor. It's a lifetime teammate. And I can't thank you enough, brother. I appreciate it. Now let's go on to Coach B. Coach B. Whew. I promise you, there are so many stories, and I could stand up here for hours and tell you the stories, the good, the bad, the ugly that we had with Coach B for the 4 years that I was at UNC Asheville. And we're just going to go on all the good memories, Coach B. And from the time, my sophomore year to Matt going off campus, and we're supposed to be sharing a room. Coach B comes up, we're doing room checks. So he knocks on our door. We're like, Matt's off campus. I have the beds pushed together. I got a big old king bed. I'm like, I'm living. I'm like, I got my own room. It's my sophomore year. I got beds pushed together. I got this big old king bed. In our room, you're supposed to have queen, or twin, whatever it is. So Matt goes off campus. I'm like, Matt, you can stay with me. You live off campus. I'll push our beds together. I'll make it work. So we come in, room checks. Coach B, Coach Carey, Coach Nick, Coach Cody. They come knocking on our door. I'm like, I'm calling Dickey. I'm like, oh crap. I'm in panic mode. I'm trying to pull the beds apart, make it look like Dickey's living with me. I'm trying to pull them apart. I'm like, oh man, I'm done. So I open up the door. So Coach B looks around. He looks around and so JP, you're telling me you and Matt stay right there in that bed, that king bed right there together. Coach, yes, absolutely. He said, so from that day on, from that day on, he never let us live down. And me and Matt were sleeping in the bed for the rest of the semester. But junior year comes around and he never lets us down. When you're winning, everything is better. And we was not winning at the time. So Coach B, being a head coach that he's supposed to be, he wants to check off all the boxes and make sure everything is taken care of. Well, that box didn't check off. Me and Matt were not sleeping in the same bed. But no, Coach B, I really appreciate you for taking the chance on me. I remember the first AAU game that you came to was in Florida. You were probably about the only coach there, and I'm like, there's no way he's here to check me out. And later on that week, games are over, and Coach Nick gives me a call, and he said, we really like you, want to offer you. Matt, I was not as fortunate as you. I never got a home visit. He invited me to campus. I think I had 4 or 5 other official visits set up. Coach B came. We ended up having dinner. The breakfast on Sunday to kind of send us away. And, we always call Coach B the closer. Nick and Brett, they do a lot of the work, but towards the end of the visit, Coach B is going to come and he's going to put the hammer on you on Sunday. And he's going to make you make decisions if you want to stay or if you want to commit or if you don't. If you don't, then he's got somebody lined up right in your place. So, Coach B, I really appreciate you again for giving me the opportunity to be here, to play here for the 4 years I did. Had a phenomenal time. And Asheville is, for me, coming from a smaller town right outside of Nashville. Asheville is a lot different. Asheville is different in so many ways, in so many good ways. And I'm not going to say bad ways, but they're different, and Coach B and Coach Carey and Coach Nick and Coach Cody, they made it feel like home. You kind of got to make, wherever you go, you got to make it feel like home. And I will always say that UNC Asheville is home for me. Being a Tennessee guys, Asheville is always home, and you were a big part of that. So I thank you. Coach Brett, Man, I remember exactly the workout. Matt and I were late. I was knocked out. So funny story. You know, because coming in as a freshman, you know, you're going to class. So right when you get on campus, workout started immediately. So we're going to class. So I'm dog tired. Like if I have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes before, like in between classes, I'm trying to go take a 5-minute nap. Like I was that tired. And I don't know what, I think it was just a change or whatnot, but I think we had Dickey was like, listen, like we got workouts in like an hour and a half. Like if you're going to go to sleep, you got to be up. Man, I'm knocked out. Dickey comes in there pounding on my door. Yo, we got workouts. We're late. We're flying. My face is red. We're flying to workouts and we come in. Coach is like, yo, like we're going to run the whole time. I'm like, Dickey's looking at me like, dude, this is your fault. So, Matt, I apologize. You made us run the whole time. It was all my fault. But BC, to get back, man, it's I think you made me the player that I became. You know, from the background that you came with, your skill development stuff that you brought to the table, it was second to none. And every time that, you know, we talk about playing at the next level, because that's what most collegiate athletes want to do. They want to play at the next level. They want to play pro ball. And that was my goal from the start. Like I wanted to play professional ball, I wanted to get paid. And when BC came in, he seen that I wanted to do that. And he said, JP, I'm going to challenge you in more ways than you could ever know. And since that day, it was, you know, me leaving, going home for the summer, and him asking me, what's your plan for the summer? What are you going to do? And if you said, I don't know, like you wasn't getting better. BC challenged me one summer, and he'll tell you if I'm lying. He challenged me to make 100,000 shots in 84 days. And I'm like, yeah, BC, I want to do it. But there's no way that he can check. Like he can tell. So, and he tells me, he said, I'm not going to be with you, but when you come back, I'll be able to tell. And he checked on me. I promise you, BC checked on me every single week that summer. How many makes are you at? Where are you at? And that's the kind of coach that made me a pro. And that's the kind of coach you want in your corner. That's the kind of coach that sticks with you whenever you go raising kids, whenever you go, you know, coaching youth leagues, whenever you go, you know, go on to life in general, you know, is the relationships that you create, the, you know, the constant checkup on players, the constant, you know, and right when I came back, he said, did you complete it? And I said, yeah. And Coach Cody, I don't know if you remember this, Coach Cody, right when we came back, my senior year, Coach Cody, he's getting us for 3-man workouts or 4-man workouts. And he puts us through nothing but shooting drills. Okay. I don't know where he came up with these shooting drills at. They were tough, but it was a lot of running, a lot of shooting. And I was wearing it out. And BC's right beside him. And he's like, dude, like he's been shooting all summer. Like I know, like he's going to continue to kill these shooting drills that you're doing. And BC, man, really, the relationship that we built and continue to build. Small story, BC he gets the job at Austin P this year, and my wife's a realtor. And I tell BC, and he's like, hey, it's a no-brainer. I want Brooke to sell me my house, you know? And so my wife ended up selling BC their house. He brand new house, had it built, but she had a small part in their transaction. But that's the relationships that you have and you build over a period of time. And that's something that really has stuck with me, BC. And really, I really appreciate you big time. Thank you. Coach Cody. I can't leave out Coach Cody when we talk about coaches. When I came in, when Coach Cody came in, I think Cody was probably a year or two older than we were. And, you know, young, just trying to figure it out. And, you know, knew a lot about the game. But I think the time that Cody was here, I learned more about Coastal Carolina than I ever wanted to know. And I say that jokingly, but Matt, Jerron, those guys can tell you when we played Coastal Carolina, okay, now Cody was he was just trying to get his feet wet, so he didn't get a whole lot of assignments. We played Coastal Carolina. Cody got his shot at getting his scouting report. Okay. I promise you, Cody Kimball knew every single detail about every single guy that they had at Coastal Carolina to a T, to not only just the basketball, but off the floor. He knew that they sold crop. He knew that their granddad was a farmer. Everything, I promise, everything about Coastal Carolina, Cody knew. Okay, but no, Cody, you played a big role in my life as well, and I appreciate the calls. I remember when I got into officiating 3 years ago, Coach Cody gave me a call and congratulated me, and the relationships like that continue to blossom over the years. Cody, I really appreciate everything, from you talking about the Iverson cut, the retreat dribbles on scout and all of that stuff. I appreciate you, Coach. Seriously, means more than you ever know. Now I want to give my thanks to my family, my mother, Big Art. You all, from the time that I got to UNC Asheville, from me calling every week saying I need money, for me calling every month saying my car's broke, for Mom, for you holding me accountable in so many ways. I'll tell you a small story. Right when I came to campus, we did summer school right when I first came. So then got here. So Coach B, they all meet. I'm packing up my stuff, ready to go back home. This is after my freshman year. And so Mom's like, hey, how's his grades? We're not telling them how our grades are. We're just going through school. As long as we stay eligible, we're fine. So Coach B, we're packing up my stuff, and she's like, well, Jay, how's your grades? I'm like, yeah, they're all right. So Coach B kind of looks at me. He's like, well, yeah, he's failing astronomy. I'm like, Coach B, but he's a hard worker. He's going to get it. I said, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late. I had my car my first year. My second year, she takes my car away. And I'm like, 5 hours away. So now Matt Dickey becomes my taxi cab. Because, every year Matt Dickey had a new vehicle. Every year. I said, hey, Matt was Uber before Uber. Okay. Everywhere. He said, JP, listen, JP, I don't have a problem with taking you and driving you. But listen, when you start making me late, I'm leaving you. There was a lot of Matt Dickey leaving me. But no, it's seriously, this honor is such a big honor. And again, I want to say thank you all. Big Art, he was my AAU coach. He gave me the opportunity that if he didn't give it to me, I don't think I would have been here. And I say that to say, I started out playing on a B team, big organization, 2 McDonald's All-Americans. Everyone on our team played Division I. And so I go to him my junior year and I'm like, I want to play with the A group. I want to play with the big dogs. What do I got to do? He said, do you really want to? And I said, yeah. He took me to Houston, played okay, but I played exactly how I played here. I was just gritty and I played hard. I didn't care about getting hit. I didn't care about diving on the floor for loose balls. I didn't care about taking charges. I would do all of those things to play where I needed to play. And ever since then, he gave me the opportunity. And going on to my senior year, my last year of AAU, 1 offer turned into 2, 2 turned into 3, 3 turned into 6, 6 turned into 7. So I say that to say, I really appreciate you more than you would ever know. Because without you giving me that opportunity, I may not be here. So again, really appreciate it. Next, I want to thank my beautiful wife. It helps me raise these 3 beautiful kids. Brooke, I hate that you didn't get to have part in my college career, but I wanted to say thank you for being so supportive of everything I do, and raising these beautiful kids and being patient with me. I know I could be a hard head. All of these guys in the room, Matt, Jerron, Jeremy, Ahmad, they know how stubborn I can be. And I want to say I really appreciate you. More things. Jerron. That's like Coach B. I have a lot of stories with Jerron. And, you know, Mo, I don't know if you remember this, but one summer we were staying together doing summer school. And Jerron will tell you, in the summer, I get after it. Like I work and I work and I work because I wanted to be a pro and I wanted to be good. And I knew that only by working hard, that's what it was going to take. And players that know Jerron can tend to be lazy, okay, really lazy. And as skilled as Jerron is, every single day, I try to push him and I try to push him and I try to push him. And the summer that we stayed together, I think that's the most he's ever gotten in the gym. And it was no asking questions. It was like, Jerron, you're coming and don't say no, because I'm going to hound you and I'm going to hound you and I'm going to hound you until you get tired and just come. So the summer that me and Jerron spent together, I think it was probably one of my best summers. Not only just for myself, but really finding out who Jerron was. And as being a vocal leader, and Coach was right. Coach Carey was exactly right. I was the vocal guy. Don't always do what I do off the floor. But on the floor, I promise you, I'll be vocal. I'll tell you what we need to do and we'll get it done. But again, Jerron, great summer that we had, the one summer really getting after it. Elk, man, Jeremy Atkinson, blue collar, okay. Same thing, a lot of stories, a lot of great stories. Jeremy was a player that he didn't care what it took. Like, he wanted to win. And if you ever watch Jeremy Atkinson play, he wear a mouthpiece. Okay, he wear a mouthpiece. And if Jeremy started bleeding out of his mouthpiece, you knew that he was ready to play. Me and Jerron would joke and say, if Elk is bleeding, we call him Elk, okay? Because he's just a big animal is what we refer to him to. Elk, okay? And he started bleeding out of that mouth. Me and Jerron look at each other and say, it's time to play now. But no, those guys, Ahmad, it was bad that you didn't get to play when we played. But no, Ahmad had a great career here. Really, thank you. Thank you for coming. Jeremy, Jerron, Ahmad, Coach Cody, BC, again, you just came off a game last night, have another one tomorrow. You could easily say, JP, I'm busy. Can't make it, bud. Good luck. Congratulations. But you made a way. And that means the world to me. Pops, my 3 brothers, my sister, they weren't able to make it tonight, but they pushed me in ways that they never knew. And I can't thank them enough for that as well. But UNC Asheville, wow, this will always be home. It really will. And I want to thank the game of basketball, because I'm very fortunate, and the game of basketball has taken me all around the world and has let me build relationships that I'll never forget, just from around basketball. And now I'm officiating, and I am able to continue my growth around basketball. Coach Eddie, if you would have yelled at me like you yelled at some of the officials when we played, I would have probably ejected you. No, I'm just kidding. But some of it is crazy because some of the officials now that had us when I played at Asheville, he said, man, y'all's coach used to wear us out. I said he probably had a reason to. But no, again, seriously, UNC Asheville, thank you. What an honor. And I really appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. And again, hey, go Bulldogs.
Next inductee is Barney Gradman, founder of the first Bulldog Booster Club and former student athlete here at UNC Asheville when it was operating under the name of Asheville Biltmore College. Here to tell us about Barney is his niece, Ann Winter. Ann was not able to attend in person. However, she sent a video to play on her behalf.
My name is Ann Winter. I have been asked by my uncle Barney Gradman to introduce him as he is inducted into the UNCA Sports Hall of Fame. It is totally appropriate that Barney is being honored for founding a booster club at UNC Asheville. He is the ultimate sports booster. He plays sports himself. He played basketball, football, baseball in high school at Lee Edwards, which is now Asheville High, and he excelled in each of them. He has continued into his 90s to work out every day and has played tennis until recently on a regular basis. He also supports others in their sports endeavors. It is not unusual for me to be out socially, run into somebody who says, oh yeah, Barney used to come to all my child's sporting events and support him or her. He supported my son when he was in elementary school and played soccer. Barney not only came to his games, he also came to his practices. And he currently is a mascot for a women's tennis team in Naples, Florida, where he lives. And Barney has told me that if he misses a match, the women call him up and say, what's the matter? They know he must be sick if he didn't show up to root them on. Barney is not only a booster in athletic events, he is also a booster in life. He has looked after elderly relatives when no one else would step up to the plate. And I have always known that he is there for his family and friends. We are sorry, those of us who plan to attend the event in person with him and congratulate him, that we are not able to all be together, but we're looking forward to a warm weather visit where we can all get together and congratulate him on this happy occasion. Barney, we are so proud of you for supporting your community and UNCA and receiving this award.
Barney Graham is a longtime supporter of Bulldog Athletics, a member of the local community. He started the first ever Bulldog Booster Club, a 2-year starter on the Asheville Biltmore College Basketball Conference Championship team, 2-year starter on the baseball team, and a 1-year starter on the football team. Let's please welcome to the UNC Asheville Athletics Hall of Fame, Mr. Barney Gradman. Barney is currently at his home in Florida, he's not able to be here tonight, but he did send a video message for his acceptance.
Thank you, Ann, for those kind words. And thank you for members of the athletic department at the University of North Carolina, Asheville, for giving me this great honor of becoming a member of the UNC Asheville Athletic Hall of Fame. It's quite an honor, and I appreciate it very much. I remember well when we first started our booster club here at it was Asheville Biltmore College at the time, before it became UNC Asheville. And I came to a game. I just moved back to Asheville. I came to a game, and I looked down there, and who's coaching the team but Bob Hartman? Well, Bob Hartman and I played together on the basketball team at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, when we were in the Army. And so after the game, I went down and talked to him, and we talked about what was going on, and he told me that finances were not real great in the basketball program at the time. And there was a couple of people from the office there, Mary and Pete Gilpin, happened to be there, and we talked, and I said, well, why don't we start a booster club and see if we can raise money for the athletic department. And so we decided to do that and got the word around, and we got a few people to join. Jerry and Wilma Sherrill were two of the first. And we raised a few $1,000s, not a lot, nothing compared to what's being raised today, but it was a good start, and I'm really proud of what's it's become. I mean, it's an outstanding organization right now and doing much good for the university, and I'm so happy for that. I want to thank everybody involved in this situation and for getting me into this Hall of Fame. And it does I remember one situation where the Booster Club went to Greenville for a playoff. And we were playing Western Carolina. The winner goes to Kansas City to play in the NAIA tournament. Western led the whole game. And it was less than a minute to go, and Western was still ahead, and their fans were all crowded around the court, ready to run on the court and celebrate. And Joe Cagle takes the shot from almost mid-court, and the ball swishes right through. There's no three-point play then. But we were only 1 point behind at that time, and we win by 1. Well, you look around, and you couldn't find a single Western Carolina person anywhere. And we had our 10 or 12 people, and we were out there celebrating. And we went on down to Kansas City and beat Grambling University, one of the top seeds in the first round. So that was quite an opening year for the Booster Club of UNC Asheville, which was Asheville College at the time. So again, I say thank you for everybody involved in getting me into this UNCA Hall of Fame. Thank you so very much. I am so proud.
And our final inductee is Natalie Pearson, who enjoyed an incredible sprinting career here for the UNC Asheville track and field team. Joe Williams, who is our head track and field coach, is currently at the Big South Indoor Track and Field Championships, has made a video to introduce Natalie.
I'd like to congratulate Natalie Pearson on induction for the Hall of Fame. Well deserved, one of the best athletes the school has ever and probably will ever see. Natalie was a team first athlete. She always thought about the team. She never put herself above anybody else. And to be successful in the sprints, clearly you have to have some level of talent, but Natalie certainly did not rely on her talent. She was one of the most dedicated people I've ever seen in my life in any endeavor as far as committing yourself to a long-term process. I saw her train from 2007 up to roughly 2014, 2015, and she just didn't miss sessions. She would occasionally have an injury, but she would always make sure she got in some degree of training, as advised by Brad Dewis, who was her coach. Also, one of the hardest things to do when you're a long sprinter, like she was, a 200-meter athlete, is you have to do what are called special endurance runs, and she was able to push herself so hard on those sessions, even when she didn't have someone to run with. So it really says a lot about her character and the type of drive that she had. Congratulations once again to Natalie Pearson for induction into the UNC Asheville Athletics Hall of Fame. Well deserved, Natalie.
Natalie is UNC Asheville school record holder. This is like 15 years old records too, in the 60 meters, 100 meters, and 200 meters. She won the 2007 Big South Outdoor Championships in the 60 meters, in the 2010 Big South Outdoor Championships in the 200 meters, in the 2011 Big South Outdoor Championships in both the 100 meters and 200 meters, and she was named Big South Track Athlete of the Year for that. She qualified for the 2010 and 2011 NCAA Division I championships in the 200 meters. She's just one of 24 runners to qualify for that. She was a member of the Big South Student Athlete All Academic Team, and at least twice was the Big South Conference Female Athlete of the Year. Natalie was not able to attend the Hall of Fame ceremony due to the arrival of her new baby, a boy, a couple weeks ago. But she did send a video accepting her award. How about welcoming Natalie Pearson to the UNC Asheville Athletics Hall of Fame?
Hi everyone. I'm so sorry I can't be there with you all in person to celebrate the other members and to say thank you. But I ended up popping a baby out 10 days ago. Here's the baby. And so a flight cross country from California seems a little intense right now. But who knows, maybe he'll be a future Bulldog. We'll see. Anyway, I hope I can express this enough through this video, but I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for the nomination to the Hall of Fame. Truly from the bottom of my heart, it's so amazing. It's really an honor to be inducted alongside JP and Matt, who were at school at the same time as me and Barney. So many great memories of watching the basketball games with JP and Matt especially. Yeah, just really great. I feel so much has happened between my time at UNC and now, both sport-wise and life-wise, and looking back, sometimes I feel like my track career there was just a dream, but like a really nice, warm and fuzzy kind of dream. I remember like tubing with the track team my freshman year, to running all those hill sprints behind the cafeteria, which I wonder if the trails are still there, I'm not sure. And then, of course, I think winning the 200 at conference my senior year is probably still my favorite race memory of all time, just the support on the track and off the track. And I just can't stress enough how positively my time at UNCA has impacted literally everything I've done since, both with my job and then, moving from track to bobsled after college and just everything. For such a small school attendance-wise, the character of all the people I met at UNCA and became friends with just seems ginormous. And the experience student athletes get there is just really, truly second to none. I feel so lucky that I accidentally ended up at UNCA. I'd never even been to America actually before I started college, let alone heard of Asheville. But I just want to give a special shout out to a few people who I really credit my success to. First, obviously, my coach, Brad Dewis. He was my coach for 4 out of 5 years at UNCA, and he took a totally average sprinter from England and transformed her into an athlete who ended up running an Olympic B standard, just really through believing in me and those hill sprints behind the calf I mentioned earlier. He became part of my family during my time at UNCA, and I'll forever be thankful for the work ethic he brought out of me, and for all of his support over the years. I also want to thank Coach Joel Williams, who's now one of the head coaches for UNCA track and field. Joel just devoted, I can't even imagine how many hours to helping me succeed on the track and in the weight room, always giving me advice and feedback whenever I needed it, or even when I didn't want it, and helping just every step of the way. On the same note, Coach Omar, he was both a teammate and then a coach, and just a really good pal who got up so early, so often, to let me into the weight room, just insanely early times, just so I could get everything in. Sorry, this little man's falling asleep. And of course, all my fellow teammates on the track and field team and all the other Bulldog student athletes, we really were a big fam, I think. And then on the medical side, Tim and Sally and all the other wonderful athletic trainers who take me back together more than a couple of times. Gosh, more than 10 times. Oh, it's all right, little man. UNCA is really lucky to have loads of amazing professors, and I also just wanted to give a little shout out to Merritt Mosley. He's not only an amazing lit teacher, but he was also a staple at loads of Bulldog athletics games, from soccer to basketball, and has always been a pillar of support for me on my journey on the track and also outside the classroom too. I feel like this is just really scratching the surface, as UNCA's support system is so vast and includes so many smiling faces. But I just wanted to stress, I really believe any student athlete who chooses to be a Bulldog is giving themselves the best chance of success to their future. And just thank you again from the bottom of my heart for making space for me during my time there, and for this induction into the Hall of Fame. So thank you again. Sorry I can't be there. Enjoy your evening and the whole weekend. And hopefully I'll see you all soon at some point. Okay, thanks. Bye.
How about a big hand for the Hall of Fame class for 2020? And let's welcome back our Director of Athletics, Ms. Janet Cohn.
Bypass the microphone. First of all, I want to thank everybody again for being here tonight. It's so good to be back in person. And we have a lot of people that have been watching through Zoom since we were limiting the attendance. Wow. Gotta say to the family members, they turn out this way because of the kind of support you give them at home before they ever come to us. And that is so true as we see Bulldogs come through here. So thank you to all the family members. To the other alums that are here, we got quite a few for women's basketball, volleyball here too. We do this because of you. And a night like tonight really reminds those of us, our coaches and our staff members like Betsy and Donna and all, why we do what we do. Because this is the best testament to whether or not we're winners. Remember, I always said, we want to cut down the nets and we want to win those championships, but the real championship is what you do in life. And Matt and JP and obviously Barney and Natalie too. And you give us the energy to keep going. It really is. I cannot tell you how much it means to have you back and see the kind of men and women, and Barney's going strong. He's not always strong. And he calls Betsy all the time. It's so great. I mean, he is a true bulldog. This is why UNC Asheville is UNC Asheville. And those of you who are here that support us year in and year out with your financial investments, with your time, with talents, volunteering. Remember, I said it's over and over. It's a good investment because you see it right here, that what we do really pays off. So congratulations. So proud of you. Eddie's stories just brought back a lot of memories too. And I mean, it's like yesterday, we were in the Justice Center. And it was like yesterday we opened this building. And see you how you are now. Congratulations to all of you. And thank you again on behalf of the Chancellor. If you step outside, you get to see yourself in the Hall of Fame. You can take pictures. I know we like to do a lot of that. Enjoy yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow at the basketball games because we need some of that magic tomorrow. Yeah.